Welcome to the walkthrough video for the having clause. The having clause is a companion clause to the group by and works on the result of a group by clause. Let's take, for example, a query that answers the following question. Write a query to list out the number of stocks or shares owned for each nation. Again, in this case, we are taking a look at two tables. The tables are the table stock, and if one runs select star from stock, we see stock code all the way to NAT code, and the other table is nation. Nation has information about NAT code, NAT name, and exchange rate. If I just want to list out the nation name and the number of stocks owned for each nation, the query would be the following. I would say select NAT name, comma, count of stock code from nation, join stock on nation.natcode is equal to stock.natcode. Now, this query is incomplete. I need to add a group by clause, and I shall say group by nat name, and I get the following result. I see Australia has 3 stocks, India has 1 stock, UK has 10, and the United States has 2. The group by clause allows me to aggregate for each nation name the number of stocks owned by the nation. Now, while this answers the question, let's think of a slightly different query. Let's think of a twist in the above query. And let's say the twist is this. What if the question was, write a query to list out the number of stocks owned for each nation, the query below, only if the nation has, let's say, 3 or more stocks, right? The nation needs to have 3 or more stocks. This means that in order to answer this question, I need to have another level of filtering. To answer this question, I need to set up a query so that only the 2 records, Australia and United Kingdom, are picked because they meet the criteria for the nation to have 3 or more stocks. So Australia or United Kingdom should be my result. To answer this question, to add that additional layer of filtering, that is the purpose of the having clause. The having clause is the companion clause to group by. It filters the results of the query after an aggregation. A having clause is completely different than a where clause. The purpose of a where clause is to filter rows of data that actually exist in a table. The purpose of a having clause is to filter the results of a group by. And so one way to think of the difference between a where clause and a having clause is to say, okay, does the data actually exist in the table? If the data actually exists in a table, then I want to use the where clause to create my filtering, to select my rows. On the other hand, if the data is created, almost as it were, created as a result of a group by, well, in that case, I need to use the having clause to restrict or to filter the results of a group by. How does a having clause work? Well, a having clause shows up after a group by clause. And so I would have select nat name, comma, count of stock code from nation, join stock on nation.natcode to stock.natcode group by nat name, and the filter having the count of stock code greater than equal to 3. This gives me the result I'm looking for. Again, notice the filter is based on counter star code, which is the aggregation that was created. And to filter on that aggregation, we have to use the halving clause that shows up after the group by clause. This concludes the video walkthrough of the halving clause. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you very much.